It was a star-studded launch in London tonight, even if the celebrities were fakes. Appropriate, perhaps, since some say Windows 95 is simply Microsoft catching up with the product developed by Apple in the mid-80s. But that hasn't stopped Microsoft becoming the giant of the computer world and Bill Gates the richest man in America.
Welcome to the UK launch of Windows 95.
The boyish figure on the big screen doesn't look like the sort of person to inspire fear, yet he does.
I think some of the reasons some people fear Bill Gates and fear Microsoft is that he wants to develop, they say he wants to develop a way to take a little slice out of every electronic transaction you make in the future.
Do you think there's a danger they're getting just too big for the industry?
There's always that danger. The danger is that the position could be used at some point to stifle innovation, and that would be an awful thing for both the industry and the world as a whole.
Bill Gates' hometown of Seattle in the far northwestern United States makes an appropriate setting for Microsoft. The city has a reputation for being fashionable but laid back. It's an image Microsoft works hard, some might say too hard, to emulate. The company likes its employees to practice informality. And the giant headquarters buildings are known as the campus. None of this changes the fact that this is a hugely successful, hard-headed business operation, and that Windows 95 is its most important project to date.
I think the launch of Windows 95 is going to be a very powerful event within the information industry, in the sense that we are bringing a very substantial enhancement in technology to the PC operating system.
The launch of Windows 95 is the most expensive in the history of the computer industry, and it's also one of the most controversial. The charge against Microsoft is that the company is fundamentally changing the rules of the game, enabling it to extend its dominance in one sector of the industry, operating systems, to another increasingly important one, online information services. Microsoft is adamant that what it's doing can only benefit the consumer. To use a personal computer, you need an operating system, essentially something you load into the PC, which allows you to talk to it and it to talk to you. Operating systems are what made Bill Gates and Microsoft into such big players. About 4/5 of the world's 200 million PCs are fitted with a Microsoft system, of which Windows 95 is the latest version.
It's the look and feel, it's what confronts you when you look at your screen, it's the way you manage all the work that you do with the computer.
So that's what we're looking at. Some forecasts project sales of 30 million copies of Windows by the end of this year. But as Don Wilmot, executive editor of PC Magazine, explained to us, Windows 95 is more than just an operating system.
The big news everyone's talking about is the Microsoft Network, which is Microsoft's first attempt to be an online service like CompuServe and America Online, Prodigy. This is very new, very exciting, and it's caused a lot of controversy.
The network itself isn't under attack, but the way Microsoft is marketing it as an integral part of Windows 95 has upset the companies who already compete with each other for the provision of information, entertainment, and the vast amount of data now available through PCs. As one of the top 3 online services, Prodigy is one of those most concerned about Microsoft's tactics. The Prodigy newsroom at the company's headquarters in White Plains, New York, is just one of the many services available to the company's more than 1 million subscribers. Prodigy are furious that for the owners of Windows 95, the Microsoft network will be easier to access than theirs or the other online services.
All we want is a level playing field. We have made that statement to Microsoft. We have made that statement to Justice. We do not worry about Microsoft Network as a competing service because we think that we stack up very well against that network. What we are concerned about is the way that that is offered to the consumer and the way that Windows 95 systematically excludes the other competitors from playing on a level playing field.
Pressure from Microsoft's competitors, allied with the Justice Department's own concerns, sparked off an investigation into possible breaches of America's tough antitrust laws designed to ensure fair competition. Only today, the US Attorney General, Janet Reno, confirmed that the investigation is continuing.
You confuse the discussion when people talk in terms which don't make any sense to antitrust lawyers. When people talk about you need to have a level playing field, or this or that is an unfair advantage. All of that rhetoric is meaningless in the legal process until it is mapped to whether conduct complained about constitutes a violation of an antitrust statute. And we have never heard any theory that makes any sense to us as the basis for an investigation, let alone the bringing of a civil lawsuit against this company.
But some legal opinion still believes Microsoft is exploiting its commercial advantage to the detriment of its competitors.
One idea, we call it essential facilities, says that if you control something that is essential for everybody else to compete, then you have to make it available on reasonable and non-discriminatory terms for everybody. Indeed, the origins of the idea are in the English law of ferryman. The ferryman was a classic monopolist, and he had to take everyone back and forth across the river.
The row over the Microsoft network is only the latest in a series of run-ins Microsoft has had with the Justice Department. The authorities, like many in the industry, seem concerned by Microsoft's apparent desire to control every market they're in. That desire led to Microsoft's attempt to take over this company, Intuit, situated in the heartland of the computer industry, Palo Alto in California, and itself no stranger to large market share. The prize Intuit offered was Quicken.
Right. What Quicken does is it helps you to organize all of your finances, your bank accounts, credit cards, investments, loans, any kind of financial activity that you have, Quicken can organize it for you.
The sophistication of Intuit's technology, as demonstrated by Yolanda, the talking tutor, and the fact that it outsells all its rivals, was a temptation Microsoft couldn't resist. Intuit gave Microsoft a chance to exploit what they see as the next big growth area, electronic commerce, and the merger was only abandoned in May in the face of a long drawn-out Justice Department inquiry, a decision with commercial benefits for Intuit.
There are institutions now that are interested in talking with us that were not interested in talking with us when they thought we were going to be part of Microsoft. Many of them, for whatever reason, view Microsoft as sort of the demon du jour and have some fear and trepidation about Microsoft.
We were never for sale. We were never looking for acquisition. In fact, it was Microsoft who approached us, and it was only after many approaches that we finally agreed to listen. We are very comfortable as an independent company. We were then, we are now. Microsoft offered some unique resources that no other company on the planet offers. And so it was a very unique situation in a number of respects. But we were very comfortable with our independent course then, and are even more comfortable with the independent course today.
Few tears were shed here at Intuit when the proposed merger with the computer industry's Goliath collapsed, whatever regrets Microsoft itself may still harbour. Everyone recognises that the key to Microsoft's extraordinary success is Bill Gates' vision, his ability to anticipate not just the next development, but several beyond that. Intuit was part of that vision, a chance to acquire market dominance in a rapidly growing sector of the software industry likely to be of huge significance in the future.
From Microsoft's point of view, Intuit was a unique path to electronic commerce, and that all other paths out there were less attractive. And I think you can see in Microsoft's new focus on the internet an attempt to get back on track for electronic commerce, but I think it's a less efficient, less effective path for them. It may ultimately get them to the same place, but I think they'll have to work a lot harder to get there.
Microsoft sees that the future involves far more than people with PCs simply talking to each other. The rapid spread of links on the internet will eventually allow them to do business with each other, to spend money by computer all over the world. And Microsoft wants a slice of the action. At the hub of the Seattle campus in the Microsoft canteen, it's impossible to miss the sense of excitement about the Windows launch. At the same time, the camaraderie strikes the visitor as rather forced. The people here know they're in an innovate or die industry. They may have missed a trick with Intuit, but they won't let the business of making money on the internet leave them behind.
As you know from things that Bill Gates and others have recently said, this company is a believer in the value of internet, and we are increasing our investment in technology that will help users of our products use the facilities of the internet. At the end of the day, we hope that people will subscribe to MSN, and we hope people will license Microsoft Windows 95, and we hope that they will license others of our products. We license our products for a fee, you bet.
Microsoft recognizes that the focus of attention in the computer industry is shifting. And I think they're working incredibly hard to position themselves for success in the new model, the communications-intensive model. I think Microsoft Network is merely one of several efforts that they have going in that regard.
Getting the Rolling Stones to allow their music to be used in the ad launch tonight is the sign of a company at the peak of its powers. The challenge for Microsoft is to stay there. Windows 95 is only an operating system, and it's not where the future lies. With the race now on to exploit the internet, it may soon be Microsoft's turn to fear the competition.
Graham Ingham. In a moment, in the wake of Michael Barrymore's revelation...
Find the career which allows them to be openly and happily
But
gay.
realistically, do you think we'd ever see a situation where we had a gay Prime Minister?
Oh, yes. I mean, within 30 or 40 years.
Thank you all very much indeed. Just before we go, a quick look at...
Highlighted by first-time movie director Robert Alan Ackerman, who's directed such lovies as Richard Gere and Meryl Streep on the boards.
For 25 years now, you have been dunking your tea bag exactly 7 times and then throwing it in the sink. Who do you think takes your tea bag from the sink and puts it into the garbage?
Where is the garbage?
In a summer full of testosterone-fueled action pics, Safe Passage...
I opened Spycatcher back in June 1992 to fill a perceived need that I thought that I had seen in the market for this sort of equipment. I thought the need was that there'd been a macro change in what was very, very valuable today. At one time, lots of wadges of rolling, folding stuff was very, very valuable. And now, if you've got more than 50 quid on you, they think you're a drug dealer or you're up to no good. Everyone's got credit cards, instant credit, direct debits, even checks have become a bit passé. And therefore, there had to be another currency that was very, very valuable. And my bet was that that currency was information. This is the ideal thing for the person that needs hands-free night vision. If you're out hunting, if you're looking for poachers, you'll want both hands free, and maybe if you're driving your 4x4 Jeep over heavy terrain with no light at all, the Cognoscenti wear hands-free night vision goggles. We sell probably 9 to 1, 90% of bug detectors than we do bugs, because For every one person that's bugged, 9 think they're bugged. Paranoia is rife. This is for anybody that thinks that their room, their telephone, or their electric current is bugged. Carry one of these around with them when they go to a meeting or when they go into a hotel room. They will always sweep the room to see if there's any chance that somebody has left an intrusive device in the room. I get more people that are paranoid. They're the ones, you know. I had a woman that kept on jumping in and out the door saying that there were helicopter gunships up there, and she wanted to buy a bulletproof jacket. And I said, well, if there is a helicopter gunship, could you get away from my door front, because this is my business, I don't want the place shot up. And I have had a persistent guy who's told me that he belonged to some cult where they had implanted a bug on him and they were controlling his life. And he wanted me to do he wanted me to test his body detect his body for bugs. The woman with the helicopter, I tried to give her a drink and send her on her way. I was quite serious about the guy with the implanted bug or bugs in his body until 3 days later his psychiatrist phoned me and told me not to take too much notice. I don't really get morally involved in the problem. It is a common question people ask me about that because of the equipment that I sell, and I sort of try and give the same answer. It's like me going in to the ironmonger shop up the road and saying to them, oh, have you got a £10 mallet? And the guy says, of course we have. And he comes back and says to me, killing the wife tonight, sir? I don't have that sort of problem any more than he does. Somebody wants to record, somebody wants to transmit to his partner outside what's going on in a meeting. To me, that's my everyday business, as selling jam is Tesco's everyday business. What better way, when you're having a great negotiation, than to pour your people that you're negotiating with some tea and ask to be excused. You have some business, or you want to go to the loo, and you sit and listen with your little earpiece in to what's going on, and everyone doesn't realise that the coffee or the tea is the bug. Maybe if I was 35 years younger, it would be a much more fun business and more James Bondish, and I could have much more of a James Bond. Rather like Roger Moore is a bit past it, I think so am I. I think I'll have to give way and wait for my grandchildren to be the James Bond characters in this business.